Hello, hello. Good evening, good evening. Wagwan and all of them good thing there. How's it circling? How you doing? Sorry, I'm just on one. How's it going? I haven't seen you in a minute. Forgive the hat. Actually, don't forgive the hat. It is what it is. I'm wearing a hat today because, you know, when you just have those hair days where it just, your hair doesn't work out how you want it to. So yeah, and plus I'm dreading up as well, so I have to protect the old ends, don't you? Yes, love from Dida Wagwan. Yes, SJD 28,000. What is happening? Thank you so much. Oh, I'm feeling the love. Hey Nick, are you okay? Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to our Instagram live. Today we are talking about how Jamaica got religion part 3. Because there's just bare to talk about. And today, we're talking about Rasta. That's what I've been told. If we're not talking about Rasta, then I'm out. Because I need to know Wagwan. Yes, that's true. My sister does wear a lot of caps and her hair's amazing, so maybe there's something in it. So yeah, who are we waiting for now? Black History Inspires. And I'm gonna add a few more people into the live. But how's it diddling for you? How you doing today, people? How's your day been? What is your truth for today? If you have a truth, put it in the chat. What's your truth for today? My truth for today is meditation is real. I had such a good meditation this morning and my day's been firing, the energy's just been high, I've been vibing, everything has just been working out brilliantly today. So yeah, that's my truth for today. Meditation is real. What is your truth for today? And you know, say Rasta man like to meditate and reason pan things, you know. What's wrong with me? I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyway, meditation is key. What's your truth for today? Let me see if I can get Black History in the room, see Wagwan, and take it from there. First day of the week, Monday. How's it going for you? How's it going? You can hear the indomitable, if I've said the word right, indomitable Bob Marley, King, Rasta, Emperor, Teacher. I don't know what else to say. My truth is I am capable of achieving my dreams. Let me tell you something. Sunday, when I saw you at Melanin Markets, hashtag Melanin Markets, amazing. You were just reverberating something. I know you did well that day. Your store was popping. Everybody was speaking about how your store and your marketing, not your marketing, but your merchandising, sorry. It was beautiful. It was on point. It was lovely. So yeah, man, you are quite capable of achieving your dreams, my love. And that's from Love from Dida. Danny Walters is saying, truth. Always good to meet people from different cultures. Yes, that's a good one. It is. It broadens your mind. It expands your consciousness, your knowledge, your intellectual base, all of them things. Nick Dennis is saying, so weird you're playing this song. Check what I recently tagged you in on Facebook when you can. Hey, well, you know, it's family, innit? It's the energies. The energies are real. I'm trying to get Black History Inspires in. He's having a laugh, doesn't want to join. If he tries to make me do this live by myself today, I swear. So whilst we're waiting, tell me, oh, what's this? Philosopher, prophet and king. Yes, that's Bob Marley. Philosopher, definitely. Prophet and king. I completely agree. Whilst we're waiting for Black History Inspires to come into the room, tell me what you know about Rasta. That's it. Tell me what you know about Rasta, because we kind of touched upon it on the last live. Our last live was 25th of April, and then we had the bank holiday, and now we're back again today. So yeah, tell me what you know about Rasta. Where does it come from? What does it talk about? What are its principles? All of them things there. Look it all. Thank you, Danny. So I and Danny have been doing these lives pretty much since last year. And I went to Melanin Markets yesterday, and this tall young man walked up to me and said, "You all right?" And I was like, "Oh," and we haven't seen each other. Do you know what I mean? Face to face. So that was jokes. It was really, really good to see you. So thank you so much. And yeah, it keeps saying Black History unable to join. I'm kicking off. Luna, thank you so much for joining. As always, I hope you are blessed. I know you're always busy, but blessed. You know, hey, Bew, as you say. Thank you to Kira. Thank you so much for joining. We are still waiting for Black History Inspires to come into the room because he is the historian. You know, I only know so much. So yeah. And I was asking, what do you know about Rasta? What do you know about Rastafarianism? Felt like I'd known you for time. Haha. Yeah, man. I'm your auntie, man. I'm your auntie out here. That's it. If you need any help, advice, guidance, that's what I'm here for, definitely. You know, and it's just amazing that yourself, you know, my dad even says it, you are his accolade, you are his little apprentice, you know so much about Black history, and it's just, it warms my heart anyway, and I know that he's really, really proud of how much you've learned since your journey, and you've only been studying this for what, less than 2 years? So yeah, man, big up. You are the next griot in this community, and this is what we need, and this is why we have the channel, so we can pass on those teachings and pass them down to our children and the youngers. Do you know what I mean? So we can talk about our culture and get some pride in our culture and have some cultural resilience and some confidence. That's what this channel is about. Speak your truth, youth. It's for young people, but anybody can get involved. So if you've got any young people who you think, oh, I'd like them to know about Rasta, share this live with them and let's have a chat. Brandy Martell, thank you so much for joining. This is an award-winning Black teacher in Manchester. Thank you so much for joining. And if you can, please share this live with any of you young people. So tell me what you know about Rasta people. Anything? When was it started? Who started it? What are the principles behind it? What are the teachings? What is the religious text that Rastafarians use? Are there any particular teachings or anything like that that you know about? When people think about Rasta, they think about traditionally dreads, red, gold and green, and weed. That's it. You know, there's this trope that's going around where people are just laughing and joking, Rasta, yeah man, Ari and all of that, and it's not a joke really, is it? And once we start talking about how deep Rastafarianism is, you know, you will get to understand, and I'm sure that there's a few people in the room who already know. So, SJD 28,000, as revealed last week, I found out about Rastafari at the age of 16 and embraced the love, culture and reasoning. Why, I like it. Thank you, Dr. Stephen Bond from across the pond for joining. Dr. Stephen Bond is a scholar, a professional, an intellectual, an author, does podcasts, does consultation, and recently won an award as well, and has been chosen to sit on a particular board. I think it's in North Carolina for education, which is massive. So well done to you, Dr. Stephen Bond, and thank you for joining. Danny Walters saying Rasta is a movement of rebellion and resistance. Yes, Danny, against Babylon. You better stop it. Luna is saying Rastafari has some connections to Hinduism. Yes. Is that to do with the Dalits? Tell me more, please, Luna, because I know you know this. Yeah. One of the founders was inspired by Kali and Krishna. Tell me more. Tell me more. I love this. I never knew this. And that's what we're talking about when we say that Rasta is not just red, gold and green, dreads and a spliff. Do you see what I'm saying? So let's see if we can invite Black History. He could be coming on as Encourage Me Coach. It could be that as well, because Black History Inspires is a coach as well, a life coach and a business coach. Congratulations, Dr. Stephen Bond. Yeah, doing bits out here is our Dr. Stephen Bond. Here we go. Black History Inspires has joined the room. Thank you very much. Let me send you this invitation, sir, and jump on. Nice one. Jonah Fun. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So we're talking about what we already know about Rasta: rebellion, resistance. It's a peaceful religion. What else do we know about Rasta? It's a culture of reasoning, a culture of finding out the deepest truths. From what I understand, I remember when I was about 16, 17, similar to yourself, SJD 28,000, I started going to our HQ in Manchester, the headquarters basically, and started to get involved in the whole, you know, culture and the family movement. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Danny Walters, I've ran out of self-raising flour. Can I make fried dumpling with baking powder and normal flour? Is this what we're doing now? I've never tried it, and if you did, it might taste a bit funky. Anybody else got any advice? Can Danny make fried dumpling with normal flour and baking powder? That is the question of the night. If anybody wants to give Danny some advice, I beg you put it in the comments. So Luna is saying one of the founders was inspired about Hindus worshipping diverse gods. Krishna and Kali were different races. Kali is a black goddess, literally meaning black woman, and Krishna, Yadava. Yadava, have I said that right? Yadava. Hey, Wax by Chi, thank you so much for joining. Again, I'm going to ask you to tell me more, because this is amazing. So one of the founders was inspired about Hindus worshipping diverse gods, because Hindus have what, 3 million gods, right? Is that correct? Tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Don't know what's going on, people. Please be patient. We're waiting for the man himself, Black History Inspires. He will be with us shortly. Let's keep talking until he joins the room. Okay? And if anybody has any advice for Danny about how to make his fried dumplings, then pop it in the chat. I beg you do. Pop it in the chat. You know what? Furthermore, let me pin it. I'm going to pin it for you, Danny. I'm going to pin it. Advice needed. I love it. Why are you frying dumplings so late anyway? What are you going to eat it with? Yeah, what are you going to eat it with? Oh my gosh, don't know what's happening. So this is what I'm going to do, is that I'm going to read out what we discussed last week. Oh, sorry, on the 25th. A bit of a recap. So the Maroons, we spoke about the Jamaican Maroons. And their religion of something called Kumfa, sorry. And that started a religion called Kumina, which is a Jamaican religion, which we spoke about. What's this now? You lot are giving me. Joe, the music is on another level. The positive vibrations of reggae is phenomenal. Yes, people have actually scientifically kind of like looked into the vibrations and the drum beats that are used in reggae music, but also in the traditional kettle music. And it's, you know, clearly it sounds like the heartbeat. It's also very, very similar to the call and response drum patterns that were used, you know, by indigenous Africans. But it's also the music is on a frequency or on a hertz that is really good for the body. I'm being serious. That's what I heard from a musician who played reggae music. I should look into it more, but that's what I know. If anybody knows any more, let me know. Danny will find out his truth of the day once he found out. Danny will find out his truth of the day once he finds out about these dumplings. I'm so sorry. Curry, Lord knows. What's this? Tasha Simply, me, thank you so much for joining. We are just waiting for Black History Inspires to come into the room. I'm just giving you a bit of a recap as to what we discussed on the 25th when we had our last live. And we were speaking about the Maroons of Jamaica, who are an amazing group who I would like to do more work on, more research into, sorry. So the Maroons mostly came from Western Central Africa. And then you've heard about people speak about the Coromantee. So they were inspired, or, you know, their teachings, their religions, their customs came from the Coromantee people and the Coromantee dance. And that was founded Ghana, or the Akan tribe, Ivory Coast, them places around there. Language was Twi, and it's now called Coromantee. So that's just a brief synopsis of the Maroons. Hi, I'm just going to keep talking because I don't know where you've been.
Just had a little bit of a disaster, that's all.
Oh no, are you okay?
No, it's my phone. It's basically, it's still charging.
Ah, right, okay.
I'd forgotten to charge it beforehand.
Well, yes. I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed, have it on charge whilst we're doing this live, and you should be cool.
Charge now, it should be okay.
Amazing. So I've got 3 things to say. Welcome, good evening. Thank you so much for saving me. Secondly, Nick Dennis is saying the man himself, giving you some applause. Wax by Chi is saying evening, Papa. Welcome to LB Cameron for joining. And we've got a pinned post here from your accolade, Danny Walters. It says, I've run out of self-raising flour. Can I make fried dumpling with baking powder and normal flour? We need the deets. Can you give us some information? Like, is it possible? Can it be done?
You're asking me?
Me don't know me ask Maddie. I'm asking somebody.
I'm not a cook. I'm not a cook. So I'm the last person to ask that.
Everybody knows.
It's got to be self-raising flour every time.
Right. So there you go. That's the
For
answer.
me, for me personally, but I don't know.
It's got to be self-raising. You're going to have to go shop, Danny. It's not going to work. You're just going to have some stone dumpling. Dumplings are going to roll, as you used to say many, many years ago when we were younger. Dumplings will be rolling down the hill because they're going to be too hard.
Oh dear.
And then also,
Mm.
say that again. So we've got a comment here from Luna. Dreadlocks is an ancient tradition in Hinduism going back thousands of years. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Thank you to C. Lito for joining. Thank you to Pan African Academy for joining. Danny's heading to the shop to get some soft raisin in now. Sorry. If you get the chance to attend.
I hope just around the corner.
I hope so as well. So SJD 28,000 is saying, if you get the chance to attend a Naya Bingi drumming session, please do, as it's amazing. Yes, Naya Bingi rastas are, you know, let me think of an example. The free-flowing dreads. So people like J. Cole, people like even Kendrick now, people like Jay-Z, and people like The Weeknd before he shaved it off, all have free-flowing Naya Bingi dreads, from my understanding. Tasha is saying you need a raising agent. So wouldn't the self-raising flour be the raising agent, Tasha? That's what we're trying to... I can't believe you're still speaking about dumplings. But hey, this is the truth of the day. So we gave a little recap. I can give a bit more. We touched on maroons. We spoke about the Coromantee. We touched on Obia being written and recorded. Was written and recorded because the Europeans were fascinated with it and they created a law to stop its practice. Touched on that. What's this? Yakiponge. Oh, right. This is from the religion. Nayam, Akan, I get ya. Comfy was the male version of a priest. The fate man was the ritual specialist to connect with spirit for the experience. And yeah. Moving on.
Last time we went through Rastafarianism, didn't we?
Yeah, we're just talking through it. So how many Rastas in the world, saying that it's a combination of Protestantism, Christianity and mysticism. It's also based upon Pan-Africanism and political consciousness. That the books that they use, I've got something here, King James Version, 66 books, when there was 73 originally, and it was reduced to 66 books at the Vulgate during the Roman period. And that Leonard P. Howell wrote a book called The Divinity of Haile Selassie in 1935.
No, he actually talked about it, not wrote a book.
He talked about it?
Yeah, he preached about it.
Oh, he preached about it, okay. And then Marcus Garvey in 1923. Marcus Garvey was a nationalist and a separatist. I think he came... I don't know where the day 1923 comes from.
What happened is around that time, that's when he was at his highest. That's
right, okay.
Really, you know, pushing in the United States for the 2 million membership.
Right, I get you. Cool. And then we've got something Ras, Makonnen, Rastafari became Haile Selassie I. In the book of Revelations, chapter 5, verse 2 to 5, it speaks about, I've just written it down. I don't know what it speaks about.
It's Garvey actually said that look towards Africa for the crowning of a black king.
There you go.
And he shall be the Redeemer.
Right.
And then they went into the Bible and found that there was to be a King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah.
Right. I get you. So very quickly, let me just say hello to Black Education UK. Hello to DACH-90. Tasha Simply is still giving cooking tips. Thank you so much, because we need it. Like, I'm backing Danny when he comes back from the shops and he fries his dumplings, if he does it during this live, that he jumps in the live and he shows us what he's working with. Like we need to see these dumplings, definitely. SJD 28,000 is saying Naya Bingi drumming was used for the Bob Marley song Rasta Man Chant. Yeah, man.
Can I just ask before we go if there's anyone who's actually part of the Rastafarian religion on here? It would be good to know who they are.
That's very true.
You know, because I'm not a Rastafarian, so I don't know everything.
Yeah, I'm going to invite a few people. I know one of my close friends, my sis, Cam. I'm going to invite her in because she was at the first live. And when we spoke about the fact that we were going to do Rastafarianism, she was like, yeah, definitely I want to be involved because I believe her mum was Rasta and she grew up in the HQ church. So I think that she would be really, really cool to join. And I'm also going to invite Fox Shidley Woy, who I think either was born in Jamaica or grew up in Jamaica. Up until, you know,
Well,
grew up in Jamaica until he was a
talking
teenager.
about being in Jamaica, I was born in Jamaica, and I spent some time in Kingston with my mother. And right next to where we lived, the Rastas actually, quite a lot of Rastafarians actually were around that area, and we used to, you know, but at the time we were told as children to go anywhere near the Rastafarians.
Why?
Because they were abused and put and killed in some cases in those days because of the wearing of the dreads and their involvement with ganja, etc. But we're going to come to all that now.
Yeah, I've got something to ask about that, and I don't know if you're going to touch upon it, but just very quickly, since I started my lock journey, certain people I've spoken to, and most people I've spoken to, I spoke to a Rasta who was going to retighten my locks for me, but essentially the conversation I had with him and that I've had with a few other people and also in terms of my research has said that to call it dreadlocks is actually a negative. You must call them locks because dread is actually a negative term. Are you going to touch on that?
I'm going to touch on negativity.
Amazing. Thank you. Amazing. All right.
Okay.
We didn't even ask you your truth for today. What's your truth for today?
I haven't even looked at a truth for today. I was just rushing around trying to get.
Do you know what your truth for today is? Charge
Sorry?
your phone.
Say that again.
Charge your phone. That is the truth.
Yep. All right. I'll let you have that one.
I'm only joking. Very quickly, good evening to Black Education UK. And SJD 28,000 is agreeing with you to say they used to beat them and cut their hair. What?
Yeah, we'll come out. We'll be talking about that afterwards.
Okay, go for it.
Yep. So you want me to start now?
Yes, please.
Right. What we're going to do is what it means to be a Rasta. What does it really mean to be a Rastafarian? Yeah. I've worked with quite a few people who are Rastafarians. We've also, my first cousin's son is a Rastafarian in Jamaica. And quite a few people around me that I know are actually, I'm talking about authentic Rastafarians because there are issues about what is a Rastafarian.
True.
But what it means is that what we understand is that their beliefs are often misunderstood.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before.
Important thing. Their beliefs are often misunderstood.
Go on.
For example, anyone who has dreads, smokes ganja, and plays reggae music is a Rasta. True. There are many people who have dreads, smoke ganja, and play reggae music, and they're not Rastas.
Many people.
There we are. So straight away, there's a misunderstanding as to what it is. Much more. It's more than just a religion also.
Go on.
It's actually a movement and also a way of life. Yeah. It's a way of life. There's a particular way in which Rastafarians live, the things they do, the things they eat, etc. The reasoning, all of that is different. It's a way of, The Rastafarian lifestyle is one of peace.
Yep, that's what I said. Peaceful. Yep.
Yeah. At least it seems to be one of peace in some people's minds. Yeah. But in my particular case, I've never really heard of Rastafarians going at one another other than through reasoning. They'd sit down and reason rather than to fight or whatever. Yeah.
That's very true. And
Yeah.
listen, there's a comment in here saying you don't have to wear locks to be Rastafari.
That's also true.
Okay.
And I'll tell you where the locks come from in a second.
Okay, cool.
Well, when I go onto locks, I'll talk about that. It's funny, a friend of mine in Jamaica, her specialism is dealing with Rastafarian locks and keeping them sort of clean, etc.
Yeah.
Her specialism.
Okay.
Which is wonderful, you know, because
it's a whole ritual. It's not just
it is. And they will come to her, but they won't go to other people.
Anybody else. It's not everybody angry with your head, you know. I've got that fact to front. It's not everybody angry with your head. Yes, that is right. Tasha simply is saying that your video is a bit choppy, and I noticed that. I know it's a bit windy outside.
It might be, but I don't have a problem here. It looks fine to me.
Oh, could it be me? And the Rebel Princess has joined. Thank you so much. Boom, bath bit.
Your video, that's choppy. I think yours is slightly choppy.
Is it me?
It looks a bit, you know, you're sort of moving, jerking.
You're moving jerky to me. What's this?
I don't know what's going on.
It's
anyway,
okay. Let's hope everybody can hear us. Carry on.
I am jerky to her tonight, so don't worry. Next thing. Throughout the world,
yes,
Rastafarians are oppressed.
Yes.
That's a very important point to remember. And they're also harassed.
Yes.
And they're sometimes forced to turn to violence for survival.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah. It's important when reading, let me see. The Rasta way of life that is laid out, is not always true of all Rastafarians. Bob Marley, for instance, was an ardent proponent of Rastafari. He took his music, taking its music out of the socially deprived areas of Jamaica and into the international scene. And he became an image of Jamaican culture and Rastafarianism.
He did,
all over the world. And it's interesting, every time a friend of mine actually interviewed Bob Marley before he passed away on the BBC. Wow. And it's just being around him was just pure calmness. You know, he was just so laid back, you know.
I've seen so many videos of him where they're asking about what's going to take money, Bob. And he said, well, money is just a number. And he was just going, do you know what I mean? He was just so chill, and everything that he spoke about just made absolute sense. And it was like, what am I worrying about? Just live good, man.
Let me talk about ganja smoking.
Boy.
Yeah. Just a minute. Let me get my split.
If you want to, I'm not judging. I'm not judging.
Oh, no. I grew up in the late 60s, well, in the 70s, in the clubs, where all of this was all part of, I don't mean the, you know, but the whole idea of spliffs in music, reggae music, we used to talk, you know, spliffs and ganja and all sorts. And we had the clubs also where you go into. I went into a club once, and the air was so thick with it, I was literally walking like this, you know. It was really thick, and I could hardly see anything.
Oh my gosh.
When you came out, you know, you know, your clothes was all smelly. But that's how some people see Rastafari. That's all they do, you see.
And that's not all they do, you know. We've just got a comment here. Thank you to Ione J for joining. And Danny's saying possessions make you rich. Possession make you rich, when he was asked if he was a rich man. And not all Rasta man smoke. I know that. I know a couple Rasta man who don't smoke, yeah.
So when people hear of Rastafari, they hear of ganja or marijuana. The smoking of ganja for a Rasta is a special experience.
I know.
It's not just a question of smoking for the hell of it. Mm-hmm. It is a special spiritual experience. I would. It's used to enlighten their mind so that they can correctly reason the ways of God. Yeah.
Go on.
And that's important to remember. It is smoked in a ritual way. It is a ritual. Before smoking the plant, the Rasta will say a prayer to Jah, to God.
Every single time?
Or to Haile Selassie the First. If they're in a group, they always do that. And I haven't really been around too many of them when they're actually smoking it. But from what my understanding and for what others are saying, they do say a prayer before, and they give, and whatever,
Do we know what the prayer is?
I don't personally. I think it's different for everybody.
Okay.
Even just saying, Jah, thank you, is a prayer.
That's true. That's true.
Or help me to reason. It's a prayer. So I'm not certain what they are. I can't tell you for certain because I haven't been around in that particular environment where it's actually happened. I know other people who have smoked it, but they're not the Rastafarians.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Like these young people these days, they're not even smoking ganja. You can't even call it weed no more. It's just pure chemicals. But I digress.
And the Rastafarians call them reasoning sessions. They are reasoning sessions. That's when they really get into all that's going on around them, what's happening with them, and how they're managing to survive and to get around it and to get under it or whatever. Sorry, don't get under. Over.
To get under, over, and around it. Welcome me, Camilla, and welcome down Damcam 7007.
You mentioned the Nyabingi session before. It's much different from a casual marijuana smoking session that Western people take part in. They get together and they take part in this and they start going all crazy and whatever. That's not the way it happens here. People in the West smoke marijuana for social and entertainment reasons.
Yeah.
Rastafarians don't. Yeah. For instance, if people were being silly and running about and horseplaying after smoking it, that is great disrespect to Rastafarians.
Wow.
Yep.
Didn't know that.
It is a great disrespect to them because that's not what it's about. You smoke it to get reasoning and enlightenment, not to run around and jump around and go on with yourself, because it's not a social. They don't see it as a social entertainment thing.
Didn't know that. I'm going to write that down. A disrespect.
So a Nyabingi, which is the reasoning session, is taken very, very seriously indeed.
Okay.
Yeah. The smoking of ganja has become one of the Rastafarians' biggest struggles because ganja smoking is illegal in almost every country in the world, with the exception of two.
Yeah. What are the two countries? Don't say anything. Do people know?
I think maybe I know they do it over in Holland.
Amsterdam?
Yeah, but I'm not if it's legal outside of certain
parts of Amsterdam.
And
then what's the second country?
I'm not certain. I didn't check that out personally.
Okay. If anybody knows where weed is legal, pop it in the comments.
Well, I know in the United States, I think there are 4 or 5 states who's now made it legal.
Yeah, and people are absolutely making money off it.
Yeah.
So all of them young boys who got locked up for selling a £10 or $10, whatever it, and they were getting life sentences or stupid sentences. Do you know what I mean? There's a big boycott in America where they're asking for those sentences to be revoked. Do you know what I mean? And for those people to be freed.
Well, put it this way, I've come to the conclusion that if somebody is smoking something like that, and if somebody is unable to stop smoking, then to me personally, it's a health issue.
Yeah.
It's not a prison issue.
Yeah.
That's just us.
So,
but there's a difference with the ones who are selling it.
That's what I'm saying. I know.
Yeah.
I know, but if you're just looking at the precedent and if you're looking at the example, so that's what's happening in America at the minute. But we've got a couple of comments here. Pan-African Academy, legal in a number of states. Mika Miller is saying that it's legal in Portugal. You think, well, guess where I'm going next week? No, but I am going to Portugal soon. But I'm not going for that. I'm not going for that. We're not clear with that, man. We're not clear with that. Well,
don't forget, there's a very good reason we go to Portugal. My great-grandfather was Portuguese. So,
we need to talk because I need to find out where I need to be going. I'm looking to find family out there. No joke.
That's not going to be easy because we're going. We've already got family on the DNA search.
That's what I'm saying. So
found quite a few.
We will have a conversation.
They're in Brazil. They're in Portugal. They're in Spain. They're all over the place.
Nice.
Anyway, continuing.
In the states, Colorado, Illinois, and California is legal.
As I say, throughout the world, the Rastafarians are constantly in court with the governments. The legalization of ganja for religious purposes.
Yes.
Yeah. In every country that Rastafarians have gone to court to fight for freedom, they have lost. So far. The country that they have tried to fight for the right to smoke ganja includes Great Britain.
Oh, yeah.
The United States, South Africa, Jamaica. Think about it. Started in the 1940s. Yep. Many Rastafarians throughout the world have ended up in jail because of the smoking of their religious plants.
Well, Dr. Stephen Bond has just put in now that in the states, Colorado, Illinois, and California, it's legal, but that they're trying to suspend non-violent marijuana charges. That's what I was getting at. Thank you. You said it so much better than me. Yeah. Danny, what was he saying? Legalize it and singing. I don't know what.
There was actually a record called Legalize It. I can't remember who sang it.
Okay.
Well, it was. Hey, you see?
I'm going to find it.
The Rastafarians' use of ganja stems back to the beginning of Rastafari in Jamaica.
And when was the beginning of Rastafari for those people who were in the live?
Rastafari was 1930.
1930.
However, in 1941, one of the early teachers of Rastafari, Leonard P. Howell, he set up a Rasta community of 1,600 Rastafarians. And this community was called Pinnacle. It's been in the news not too long ago because the governments in Jamaica has been trying to take over the land.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yeah, they've always fought against, At Pinnacle, Howell grew ganja as a crop, as a cash crop. At that time, he was growing it actually to sell it so that they have monies coming into the community. Yeah. It was during this time that the Rastafarians discovered the properties of ganja that helped their reasoning process. So it all started with reasoning. It didn't start with a social and entertainment. It was really, by 1941, they've been 11 years into Rastafarianism. And they
listen to this then. We've got a comment here from Luna saying Sikhs are allowed to carry kirpals, which is the little sword, which technically is an arm. So what's the difference between weed and Rastafari for religious reasons? Well, you tell me. What's the difference?
Well, as I said, this is what Western governments believe, and the Rastafarians soon turned to the Bible and found reverence to the use of this holy plant. They believe it's in the Bible.
I wonder who was the first. So not the first. They must have been smoking it before 1930.
It was only around 1941 when Howell started growing it. That's some
I'm
of
just thinking in my head, I wonder who was the first person to find it, smoke it, and think, this I'll go ahead. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, how did that go down? But yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Put it this way, I don't know, but somebody was all the first to smoke cigars, cigarettes.
True. But I'm just thinking about what that revelation must have been like. But anyway, I digress.
It probably fell on the floor and got up and said, "I am enlightened," you know. And then else turned it to him and say, "Listen, let's try it as well, and let's reasoning." And that's how Nyambingi came about.
Right.
That they started reasoning in 1941 and started realizing that, hey, this is good. It makes us, you know, feel more able to sit down and just talk, you know, and deal with.
True. We've got a comment here. Danny is saying, wasn't weed brought by the Indians when a lot of them came over after emancipation? And it was smoked widely in many other countries before Jamaica.
I'm not certain exactly where marijuana came from, but I think it is from the East.
What were the Native Americans smoking? They were smoking true tobacco, weren't they?
I don't know. I'm not certain about Americans. I know the Tainos used to smoke tobacco because tobacco came originally from South America, and then brought it to Europe.
Okay.
But tobacco was the word tobacco is actually a Taino word.
Is it?
Yes.
Boy.
Yeah, the word tobacco. It's not tobacco, it's tobacco, but they've now made it into tobacco. And that name is it's a Taino word.
Didn't know that.
Yep. So the Spanish went over and saw them smoking it and thought, hey, I'll have some of that.
Let me have some of that. Danny said, I think Native Americans was peyote, which is a psychedelic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So as I say, from this ganja was born into this is when ganja was born into the Rastafari culture, because they looked in the Bible and said the Bible actually said, they take the Bible literally, by the way.
I know.
They take it literally. So if it's in there and it says that there's a holy plant, they take it literally. Anyway, let's move on to dreads, as some people call it, but locks as we know it. It should be, yeah? But some people call it dreads. Some call it dreadlocks, some call it locks. Yeah? But as we said before, the Rastafarians are positive people, and they put a positive spin on everything.
That's true. Yeah. Before you go any further, let me just read out these comments. Danny is saying ayahuasca was a spiritual brew used by the Amazonians in South America too. Yep, know about that. Luna is saying you find marijuana in the mountains in the north of India. They are literally fields and fields on the hillside. Yeah. You find loads of white hippies live there. The disrespect.
Hey, listen. If you want something, you have to go where it is.
Wow. That is disrespectful, but okay. Moving on.
Anyway, locks are another well-known part of Rastafari. The origin of the dreadlock, as they still call it, traces back to ancient Africa, originating in Eastern Africa. Are you aware of that?
I wasn't aware of that. We've had a comment from Luna saying it goes back to the Hindus. Could it be the Dravids?
No, it goes back, probably goes back further than even that, because there's a writer called Dub, and he said the hairstyle was worn by warriors in Kenya, what is now called Kenya, but it was a different place then. And the hairstyle of ancient Kemet and Nubia. And Nubia came before Kemet.
That's true, yeah.
We're talking about 3100 BC and probably before that. However, in Jamaica, in post-slavery and a Eurocentric culture, the hairstyle was deemed in the early years as dreadful.
That's where it comes from.
That's
Yes.
the terminology, dreadlocks.
Yes, yes, yes.
It was called dreadful. And interestingly, in the 1960s, there was one of Jamaica's national heroes, Alexander Bustamante. He went after the Rastafarians in a big way. And he used to send the police out to get the Rastas. And he'll basically say, bring them back alive, but if they're dead, fine. You know, he basically didn't care whether they were alive or dead. That's how he saw Rastafarians. So recently, some people have been saying it should be taken out of the of being a national hero of Jamaica. And put Bob Marley in there. Did you hear that?
He should be what? Taken out of being a national hero.
Take him of being one of the 7 national heroes, and put Bob Marley there instead.
Yeah. I will back that. Definitely.
He was against Rastafarians. Bob Marley is really one of Jamaica's national heroes.
I guess the reason why they won't make Bob Marley a national hero is because he was a Rasta.
Well, all I can say is that Jamaica's tourism culture, a whole lot of the tourism culture is built on Rastafarianism.
Exactly. I was saying at the beginning of the live when I was out here on the ones in these Instagram streets panicking because you weren't in the live. But I was saying that, you know, when you talk about Rasta, all you hear about is dreads, red, gold, and green, and weed smoking. And that's it, you know. And then if people want to take the mick out of, you know, Jamaican culture, they're put on, you know, the big floppy hat and, yeah, man, and it's airy. And it's just the disrespect. It's disrespect.
And on top of that, the other thing is in Jamaica, I'm not certain whether he's an MP or a member of the Senate, but there's a Rastafarian.
Is there?
He still wears his locks, everything.
Yes,
and
man.
He's been fighting for a whole lot of things relating to the Rastafarian way of life. Anyway, so as I said, the name came from the hair being deemed as dreadful. The Rastafarians also believe that they should not put sharp metal objects to their head. In other words, no cutting of the hair.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
This comes from an interpreting the Bible literally. Maybe it's
the story.
Etc. Due to this belief, they do not believe it right to shave or comb their hair. So I used to with a Rastafarian, and he never shaved at all. He never actually cut his locks or anything. He just, you know, and he was a youth worker, funnily enough, a really good youth worker. Yep.
Yeah.
Another belief that led to the locks among Rastafarians is that the wearing of the dread resembles the mane of a lion.
Like in Zion. Yep. Sorry.
The lion is significant because the lion is respected as the king of the animal kingdom as well as a humble creature.
Right. And they didn't want that. Oh, let me just say hello to Nathan. Thank you for joining. And hello to somebody else who joined. Where you there? Wadey65. Thank you so much for joining.
Also, both of these traits the Rastafarians believes are divine and important to the black man. Selassie I also was called the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah.
Danny's just put it in.
This makes the wearing of the dread connected to the Rasta religion. Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Also, the other thing is the dreadlock is also a natural state of the African person's hair.
Exactly.
Yeah. And by being natural, the Rastafarians feels they are connected to Jah. Natural. Natural. I tell, you know, all them things, all natural. Howell, Leonard P. Howell was forced to create a group of guards to protect the area. Now, remember, he used to grow the ganja.
Yeah.
At the time, it wasn't exactly legal. Yeah, even then. And so he had a set of guards that grew their hair long in the form of ancient African warriors, and they became known as locksmen. With this, and the reasons given in the dreadlock became the locks became the hairstyle of the Rasta, because they had to protect the ganja, you see, they from other people coming in. So they started growing their hair, and that's when it actually started becoming locks.
Right.
So it's
okay.
what is, yeah.
That makes sense now. Now I understand the difference between dreadlocks versus locks. And it's come back to me now. It was a video I was watching on Instagram of a black school teacher, and she was teaching a mixed class of school children. And there was a young boy basically talking about dreadlocks and saying, oh, you know, I'm Bob Marley and this, that, check my dreads, you know, taking the mick. And she stopped him and she said, no, you need to know the history behind it, because our locks were seen as dreadful, you know, etc., etc. And there's been too much policing of black hair and black bodies over the years. We call them locks, you know. That's what the video was about. And I completely agree. And I was watching something the other day, something popped up about, you know, the Tignon laws. Tignon, can never say it. Tignon. Tignon laws. When Carl? The headlock laws in Virginia for the women. What were they called?
Oh, that is, yeah.
The laws where basically where they said
the laws. Oh yes.
What's it called? How do you pronounce it?
Touch. Yeah, I've got something about it to do a session on at some point.
Tignon laws or something like that. I can never pronounce it right, but it's a similar thing.
It relates to the wrapping of the hair from way back in slavery, coming right up, because the white men didn't used to go after the black women because they love their hair.
But then when the law was put in place to say you must wrap your hair to make you more unattractive, the women wrapped their hair in colourful fabrics and adorned it with feathers and everything, and they were even more beautiful, and it became even more of a problem. So now there's an actual play about it that's been, I think it's in London or something, or there's a story, or there's something coming to screen soon talking about those laws and how black women's bodies and hair has been policed over the ages. So I'm going to pop it in the comments because I can't pronounce it. It's doing my head in. Can never say it. Tignon laws. Tell me to spell this right.
I know what you're talking about, but I cannot remember how it's spelled. I'm sure Danny's going to look it up.
Yes, Danny, please look it up for us and let us know. Yep.
So just the smoking of ganja, just like the smoking of ganja, the locks hairstyle has led to many problems for the Rastafarians. In the early days of Rastafari, the Rastafarians who wore their hair in this format were brutalized by the police for no reason at all, just because they were wearing their hair like that. Yeah, this pushed many Rastafarians into the bushes of Jamaica so that they live in peace. Have not gotten a lot better for locks people even today. In Jamaica and other parts of the world, children who have locks are not allowed to attend some schools. There was an in Britain here.
Yeah.
Our mother and father, they're both Rastafarians, and they sent their child to school. That child, what did they do with his hair? Did they cut it?
I think they tried to cut it off. They sent him home. There's been quite a few where they've either cut it off in school, or they've put that young person in isolation and then sent that young person home and said, don't come back to school until it's cut off.
To me, if you're going to cut off a child's hair in school, that is the same thing as assault.
It is assault. Of course it's assault.
Yep.
There was also another case of a black gymnast, I believe, who was told that the braids, the plaits that she had in with little beads at the end, she couldn't compete with them in. So all of her team, I think it was a USA team, all of her team had to gather her and take out before she could compete. I was like, what would you do in that situation?
I know. They're trying everything. They're trying everything.
Really are.
The school issue is constantly being fought in courts throughout the Rastafarian world.
Yes.
It came up lately in South Africa, a school in South Africa where a young child was not given the right to go to school because of her hair, her locks, and the issue had to be fought in court. Now, to me personally, I'm trying to work out, isn't it a right? Isn't there such a thing as a right to education?
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be higher than how you wear your hair?
Looks like. Yeah.
Interesting.
Very quickly, let me say hello to Marnie's World and hello to Precious73. Thank you for joining, sis. And I don't know if you have any experience of this, particularly dealing with little man's hair, because wealth of hair, beautiful hair. So I don't know if you had any experience of that, but definitely speaking to some of my friends and even young people that I work with, being told some awful stories about how their hair is being policed in school, how just 3 weeks ago, I was at a youth session talking about mental health and well-being and how the trauma of being in school and having themselves policed in school was really difficult. One girl was told me that she was dragged by a plaits by a teacher. The teacher said, you know, you're not allowed to have these plaits in school. You look a mess. All of these things. Crazy, man.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Makes you wonder.
It makes you wonder. Do you want us to come on to, there are two other areas that I wanted, two other areas I wanted to look at. One was about the Rasta dialect, and the other about the Rasta diet.
Why? Well,
which do you want me to do first?
It depends how long each area is going to take, because we're nearly at 9 o'clock.
I know. Well, very quickly, the Rasta dialect is important because that's where we look at the positivity side of things.
Okay.
And also the Rastafarian diet is very important too. But let's look at the Rastafarians take their speech very seriously. Very seriously. Many Rastafarians will not speak unless they have something really important to say.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the fact. They just wouldn't. They're not going to say anything unless they have something that they believe that. Yeah,
I completely agree.
They also try to make their speech very powerful and grateful when they speak, and this reflects how they think literally. Yeah, a literal translation of words, just like their beliefs, use a literal translation of biblical readings. So it reflects their protest against oppression and their protest against authority.
Protest.
Yeah. Well, they've been protesting for a long time.
And that's why they call Rasta a political movement, because I don't know how protesting against bad treatment in society makes you a political movement.
That's exactly it.
Same with BLM. But anyway, I digress. Thank you to Islington Healing Network for joining, and thank you for the follow.
Also, when the Rasta's speech is analysed, it shows how the Rastas are always trying to think positively.
Okay.
They change the English language in a way that helps them to make more sense of the world, as well as against what the Rastas believe to be unjust.
Go on.
Yeah. Okay. Often they change a word from a negative meaning to a positive meaning.
Yes,
they will always replace it with something positive. For instance, the changing of the word understand to overstand.
Listen, when I started using that years ago, saying, I overstand, people are like, what?
Yeah.
No, I overstand. I'm not under you, but I overstand it. Listen, so
and it means, overstand means to fully and entirely have a grasp of a concept.
What me overstand, man?
Also, Rasta reasonings, in Rasta reasonings, something that is under is worse than something that is over it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they change on the to over.
Okay. Can I just say very quickly, Danny is saying, I love how Rastas are being shown positively here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A Rastafarian might also say, I and I.
As SJD 28,000 just said.
And they might say, I and I must not just understand but overstand. Seen?
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. They will always replace it with something positive. And this is a great reflection of how the Rastafarians always see things positively. The concept of I and I, funnily enough, when I, many years ago, when I was a young man, yeah, we used to have a BBC radio show called I and I Rule OK.
Okay.
It was on BBC. It's now called The People. But
it's now called The Who?
It's called The People now. Mr. Vrums is in charge of it now.
Okay.
And yeah. But what I'm saying, this was around 1978. We had that show on radio. And I used to be part of that show.
Is it?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, you're out. What's it called? It was formerly called...
Yeah. Okay. And we used the term I and I. But now looking back at that, I can see that we were using it more in a derogatory way rather than in a respectful way.
Really?
Because
that's some deep reflection.
That's exactly it. But I didn't start the show. Someone else started the show, and we just went on to read poetry and to with various things in the studio.
Do you know what's so weird? Because as you were talking about locks, and you were talking about the lion and the mane and the conquering lion, and, you know, Rastas being subjugated because of the locks. I wrote down the name Benjamin Zephaniah. He's a poet. He wears locks, and a lot of his poetry speaks to that dialect that you're talking about, I and I, very positive. It speaks to protest against oppression and society. Let me put his name in here if people want to check him out. He's amazing.
I've actually met Benjamin. I was at a meeting with him a few years ago in Manchester.
I want to meet him.
He is exactly what you see is what you get with Benjamin.
I want to meet him.
Big guy. By the way, are you aware that he was offered an MBE and he turned it down?
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Of course.
He doesn't mess about, that guy. He does not. And I think he's got 7 or 8 degrees from universities all over the world.
Honorary degrees.
Honorary degrees, yeah.
Check him out.
Even in South Africa, you know. Oh, yeah. He's a very powerful guy when it comes to, you know, what he does and what he stands for.
Luna is saying Mr. Zephaniah has roots in Newham. He's at the Newham bookshop all the time. Yes, and as we know, and it was Luna who told me many moons ago, well, a few years ago, coming from Newham, the diversity of Newham. Back in 2010, it was, what, 65, 70%, what they call BME. So, yeah.
So, continuing the concept of I and I, the letter I is in almost every part of their language. If you're going somewhere, they'll say I and I go in such and such a place. Why do they say I and I? Because there's only one of them, isn't there?
Is there?
Is there?
Is there?
Well, it is the name of their religion, Rastafari, yeah? And it's part of their God's title, Selassie I.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're saying I and God is going.
That's exactly it. They use the word to connect themselves to God, to Jah.
All the time. That's amazing.
Jah is always part of them, and they're part of Jah. Isn't that good?
I can't get my words out. If you constantly saying that, then you will always feel connected. That is beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And here's the thing. a Rastafarian will never say, I am going there. Instead, it would be, I am going there. Yep. It shows that that Jah is part of him, and that he is not separate from any other person.
Wow.
You see? I is also used to replace letters of powerful words. This too is reflected in the word you, not being part of the Rastafarian language. They use I instead of you.
Wow.
Yeah. The Rastafarian believes that first there was just I. And then the devil came and created you. Interesting.
Listen, I've got a request there to join. I don't know if you actually want to join the Rebel Princess, but I've got a request from you. I'm happy to put you on because I know that you are a veteran when it comes to singing reggae / lovers rock. So I don't know if you wanted to join to give us a take or if you just did it by accident. Let us know. Carry on.
Yep. So as I said, that's the bit about the language. As I said, the Rasta diet bit, if we have a few more minutes.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Happy to do that.
It's often overlooked by many people who do not know a great deal about Rastafari.
That's it. Everybody want to be talking vegan. Listen, Rasta been eating vegan for years. And not only Rasta, but others, you know. But yeah.
The Rastafarians do not like being around any animal that is dead. They are thinking about dead beings. Wow. Yeah. This idea stems from their diet. The Rasta believes that it is wrong to eat animals that have died because then you are turning your body into a cemetery. Whoa, interesting, eh?
Yeah.
This does not mean that a Rasta will not eat dairy products. Most Rastas have no problem with the consumption of milk because it does not come from a dead animal. Okay. Although some Rastas will not eat animal meat, many Rastas will eat fish. However, the Rasta will not eat shellfish.
Oh, yeah. And I don't eat shellfish, really. Let me just read some comments out because you lot are funny. Rebel Princess is saying no, she didn't mean to jump on. The Precious 73 is saying, you're teaching me goodie. And Danny Walters is saying, whoa. And I think that's to do with the cemetery comment because that shook me.
Yeah, it's a very powerful comment. And as I said, they take the Bible literally, and shellfish is one of the things that is not seen in the Bible. It's seen as unclean.
Bottom dweller. Yeah.
Some, but not all Rastafarians will go as far as not to eat fruit that has been altered from its original form.
Fruit?
Yeah. If it's been
I agree.
Genetically or whatever, they will not touch it.
I agree. Yeah. More times still, I find it so difficult to find grapes with seeds in, or to find oranges and lemons with seeds in, or and I will actively look for that. Not too much with the grapes because it can be difficult, but yeah, I completely get it.
And this is an interesting thing. This means that they would not eat fruit that has been peeled, cut, or smashed. They want the original. They want the original in their hand.
Okay.
Yeah. They can then peel it if they want to, but they will not. They don't want somebody to hand them an orange which has been peeled or has been cut or whatever, which is interesting.
So they won't eat a fruit salad from Tesco.
I doubt it. And finally, there's also a large number of Rastafarians that will not eat any processed food.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
So there is a lot to the Rastafarians. There's a lot more than just smoking ganja, wearing dreads, wearing locks, and playing reggae music.
So can I just ask then quickly? I know because what you've detailed is a way of life. It is a belief system. It's a culture. It's an understanding. It's an overstanding. Sorry, it's an overstanding. When we talk about the reasoning, you know, the reasoning and then the smoking of ganja in order to elicit that reasoning and that state of being able to communicate and talk and reason, is that akin to prayer / meditation, or is that something that Rastas do or do separately? Does that make sense?
Sort of. I sort of lost a bit of your train of thought at the beginning.
I'm going all over, you know how my brain works. Do Rastas pray or meditate? Or is it individual to them, or is it something within the religion?
Then again, you have to ask the question, what is prayer and what is meditation?
Because I would say the one and the same thing.
Some people say that, but others don't, because in prayer, you've got their thing. Your mind has certain things within your mind when you're praying.
True.
When you're
active,
to get rid of everything out of your mind.
That's true. So, because I've heard a lot of Rasta say, "Make me meditate upon this."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think we use the term meditate in a different way from meditation.
True. All right, all right.
Meditate on something, which means let me think on it.
Right. But when they say meditate, they really mean deeply think on it.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
But it's not the thing as meditation like TM, transcendental meditation, which is more about clearing your mind of everything.
Well, my truth for this morning was, my truth for today was meditation is real.
Okay.
Amazing meditation this morning, and I've just been on a high all day. It's real. That's all I'll say. Hello to Akoma Arts. Thank you so much for joining, and well done for your market over the weekend as well last week.
Oh, I missed that market actually. I heard it was good.
Which one?
The one that
Royal Exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. And you missed ours on Saturday, but it's all right. I give you a bly.
Oh no, I know about that one. I came out rather late and had to shop.
Okay.
Anyway, also, just one other thing about the social thought of Rastafarians. One of the most important parts of Rasta thought is the protest against authority and structure. The Rastas refer to the authorities that rule the world as Babylon. Yeah? And Babylon is connected to the devil and is ruled by the oppressive white man. This rejection of authority can be seen in how Rastafari has no rules like many other religions do. There is not one thing that Rasta has to do to be a Rasta, because that would defeat the whole purpose of being a Rasta. The Rastas reject the Pope very much.
Yes.
They reject anything that's too ritualistic.
They like to burn and fire burn a lot of things, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I said, the Rastafarians believe that God makes himself known through humanity.
I completely agree.
According to one of the writers that wrote on Rastafarian, Jagessa, he says there must be one man in whom he exists most imminently and completely, and that is the supreme man, Rastafari Selassie. So that's their beliefs.
Wow. And then we've got a couple comments here.
Somebody else believes that's what they believe, you know, and we have to respect that.
Of course. Thank you to DD2K for joining. SJD 28,000 assess systems, mere system schisms and isms, and black education is giving you the hail up and the claps, because it's right. You know, God makes themselves, herself known through humanity. I completely believe that. If that's the case, call me a Rasta. I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Anyway, that seems to be it for the Rastafarians. I think we've now gone through over 3 sessions how religion got into Jamaica.
We've done all right, innit?
Yeah, even though it's taken us how many weeks now? 5 weeks.
Yeah, but listen, We've done longer parts. I think the longest we've done is part 5 when we were speaking about, what was the topic when we went to part 5? It will come back to me. But people, if you want to find out about part 2 and part 1, then you can go back and look on the IG channel. And I was wrong last time. This is our 62nd live, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
62nd. I don't know what you're laughing at, sis. Don't know what you're laughing at. But thank you for the love, people. As Love from Dida would say, throw the love up the screen. Thank you very much. Yes, Danny, with your good brain. It was the Haitian Revolution.
Yeah. Can I just ask whether Danny's made his dumplings yet?
Sounds like a song. Dr. Stephen Bonder said you did an awesome job. Thank you.
That's
Danny,
crazy.
if you made your dumplings, we need to see the final result. Like, we can't go nowhere until we see it.
He hasn't been to the shop yet.
Wax by Cheese says, thank you for the education. Danny, if you don't want to show people your dumplings in this live, then you can send us a pic in the WhatsApp chat. Listen, I'm running you down. I need to see if you made decent fried dumplings. I'm joking. They finish. What do you mean they're finished? You eat them off?
Wow.
You fry the dumpling and eat them off? Oh my gosh.
You see?
Stop.
Oh, well.
I might have to make some myself this Sunday. You can't get better than the fried dumpling. And
well, don't worry, I'll be coming down for some.
yes, I spoke to your other daughter, the little one. She's cooking dinner for us. She doesn't know that she's doing it, but she's cooking dinner. Yeah.
Which little one?
The little one, man. The other daughter, the little one.
Okay, I've got too many.
That's what Mummy used to call her. But anyway, we'll talk. So we've got dinner coming. But thank you so much for all of the love and all the love hearts. Thank you to Jazik Kowensi. I'm not even going to attempt it. I don't want to disrespect your name, but thank you for joining. I can school Wallace some more. Who's Wallace? Oh, is that your son?
Who are we talking about, Liam?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wallace is his son.
Oh gosh, what a strong name. I love it. And I saw your mum as well on Sunday, but anyway, we'll talk about that. Sunday brunch, ackee and saltfish with fried dumpling. Yep. Thanks for the information. Dinner at my house? Nah, don't, no. Don't get yourself gassed here. Don't get yourself gassed. Last time I made ackee and saltfish, I made it for you, didn't I? You didn't even tell me whether or not it was all right.
It was all right.
It wasn't all right. Forget it. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to play the music. You meant to say it was the best thing I ever tasted.
No, I can't say that because my mother's is the best I ever tasted.
All right. Let's give it up to Nana. All right. Well, you know what? 20 past 9. We've done all right, and you know this has been a really cool topic. And to be honest, I would like a part 4, but I don't know. We shall see. What are we going to talk about next week?
I have no idea, but if you can think of, if people can think of something, they can post it on. If there's
it in the comments, what would you like to know more about in terms of Black history? Because remember, this channel is called Speak Your Youth Truth, specifically for reducing the trauma amongst our young Black and brown people, but young people in general. And part of the way we do that is sharing education, sharing emancipation of Black history to emancipate our minds, as Bob Marley would say, free ourselves from mental slavery, gain some cultural pride, gain some confidence, and be able to mitigate against all of the madness out in society that's trying to, all of Babylon's tricks. That was there, all of Babylon's tricks. But yeah, for real, man, share this live, this particular one. I really, really enjoyed this. I'm going to share it with a few of the people who I think would love it. And thank you so much for joining. That's all I can say.
Look forward to finding out what we're going to do next week.
Yes, if you want to, put something in the comments or send us a DM or write under this live. We've done so many topics, I'm struggling to think. We have done a lot of topics, but I'm sure that we can find some. Can you hear what's happening?
But so proud to know that God black. You know, just that. We don't feel brave to know that God black.
Can you hear it?
And we black people.
I'm playing Judah. Wait up. Oh, it's the actual thingy version.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, I'll stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll leave you to it. I'll leave you to it. I think that's it.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you next week then, people.
And I'm sorry, I need to again apologize for being late.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry. You just had me out here on my ones. Struggled, but I was kept really good company by people in the room, so don't worry about it. And
Okay.
remember your truth. Charge your phone. I'm going to get you a charger. Black music.
Oh, yeah. I'll charge.
Ooh. Black Education UK has got a really good topic, and you've done many, many, many workshops on this. Black music genres.
Well, isn't it funny that I was thinking exactly about that just now?
You laugh.
I'm being serious. I was thinking, should we do a history of? I've done a class. I've done a course, a 6-week course, on how black music became British music.
Yes, and I've attended it. It was
and
amazing.
That was really well. You know, people love that. So, but then I have to play some music as well. So that's what we'll have to work out how we play the clips, 20-second clips, 15, 20 seconds of the music.
Check your notes and see if you've covered all ideas. Yes, I did put something in the group about some of the ideas that were put down previously, so I will check. Danny, we're talking about black music genres. We might do some lives on that in the future. Yep. I'm down for that.
Yep. How did we get reggae? Where did reggae come? Where did blues come from? Where did jazz? There's a whole range of areas we can look at. What about hip hop? How did hip hop come up?
Yeah, I'm sure we have touched on hip hop. We've got a comment here from Wax by Chi. Recently, I've come across many ethnic people changing their children's names so they are not prejudiced once people see their names on paper. I read it today. It was in the news. Loads of ethnic people, they mean African or black people, but mostly African people, changing the names so they can get jobs, so they can get housing, so they are deemed as worthy and suitable to be dealt with in society.
For one of the worst things I find is people, and they see somebody's name and they pronounce it, they mispronounce it. They don't even ask, how do you pronounce your name? It's simple.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the reason why if I can't pronounce somebody's name, I will ask them. On the live, it's slightly difficult unless you're going to spell it out phonetically, so I just won't attempt it because it's disrespectful if I get it wrong.
As I say, I don't think people should change their name for that purpose. In fact, ideally, I'd love to change my name back to one of my ancestors' names.
True, I agree.
Yep.
So we've got blues would be a good topic. We've spoken about hip hop. So yeah,
blues is well. The good thing about blues is blues comes right through to the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and it's still going today.
Billie Holiday, you're talking my language now. These are my peeps. Let's go. I like that. Let's do some black music genre lives, and I would like to be involved because, as you know, I'm a musician. Artist, one tries, yes. Yeah. So I'd like to get involved, definitely. Oh, maybe on decolonization. Nice. African rulers like Sankara, Lumumba. All right, you're coming with the ideas now.
By the way, if we're going to do music, I get a friend of mine who was in one of the top reggae bands in the 1970s and 80s to come online and talk about it.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, he was in one of the top reggae bands in the country at one time. It was Steel Pulse.
Who?
Steel Pulse.
Oh, Steel Pulse.
Yep, they were one of the.
Yes, I've heard of them.
And I know the guy for that, you know.
Okay, so we could potentially get him onto a chat. Sounds good.
Yeah, they've just recently started playing again. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do a bit of research into Steel Pulse. I've got a research part here. Thank you. Right, so I shall bid you adieu.
Okay.
We shall see you next week, and we'll let you know what we're going to talk about, people.
All right.
All right.
Okay. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good evening, people. Bye. Bye-bye.